what's going on? A lot going on. We are facing election. Joining me today, Professor Keshav Mandadi. He was also seeking nomination from Conservative Party of Canada. We will hear his journey, his shocking experience during our conversation today. Also joining us today, Dr. Vageesh Sabharwal. He's representing PPC party, candidate for King Vaughan. Thank you, gentlemen, joining me today.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
very much.
So I'll take your stance. What are your hopes as a PPC candidate in your riding?
My hopes as a PPC candidate are the same hopes that I have as a Canadian. I wish for a better future. I wish for a better tomorrow than today. I've seen firsthand how individuals and individual freedoms in this country are just going out the window. People are finding it difficult to meet their basic needs. And as a hopeful candidate, and moreover, as a hopeful and optimistic Canadian, I do believe that if there's change in leadership, change in representation, we will be able to afford a better tomorrow than today.
Dr. Sabharwal, as I was talking to you off the camera, I got a perception that it's not just ambition of getting into parliament. You also want to contribute to make our country progressive, beautiful, and just society.
This country has given me everything that I have. I say with great pride that I have been educated in some of the finest institutes in the world, which are in this country. I have been given great values as a Canadian, which I got from this nation. I have a beautiful family. I have a wonderful business. But at the same time, I see that that is not the reality for many people. And I am willing and capable of giving my most valuable item that I have in my life for my community, for my nation. It's my time. My time, my passion for this country, my passion for a better future for my children and the children of my friends, my colleagues, my countrymen. And I know it's a process. Just because I've put my name in the hat doesn't mean that I'm guaranteed anything. But what I am guaranteed is I'm guaranteed that I will have the opportunity to speak. I will have the opportunity to reflect my opinion. I will have the opportunity to make a difference, whether it be a big difference or whether it be a small difference. The key is, did I contribute or did I sit on the sidelines and complain?
So it's all about contributing to society, contributing to our beautiful country.
Absolutely.
You were born and brought up here
Yes.
in Canada. And Professor Mandadi, you are already contributing a lot as a great teacher, as a man of discipline, as a man of integrity. And you thought to contribute more in terms of jumping into politics. You did your very well when it comes to making new members to the party, in terms of doing fundraising and all those things. But you got disappointed. And so many stories we have read in the media and the press about your disappointment. So share with our views, what did you get into that?
Tahir Saab, thank you very much. I might sound like a sour grape, an angry man because I haven't been recognized for the nomination. But my point is not that. I really want to tell the audience who listens to this podcast. My point is, I haven't got a fair chance of what I asked for. If I got a nomination process and then competed and lost, I wouldn't have disgruntled so much as I am doing now. What is so hurting is, I could raise money for the party. I could bring new people to the party, more than anybody in the competition. But the party didn't look at me seriously even to give an opportunity. This must not happen to anyone in this country, because we believe in democracy. Democracy is for all and it should be fair. If not fair, it should look fair. And it didn't even look fair in my case. That is the most disappointing thing I wanted to share. Like Dr. Sabharwal said, see, we have done so much in our own personal life to it means so much to my family, to myself. We have achieved certain things, secured financial stability. In fact, I should tell you, when I was in my doctoral degree, I wrote down a couple of things that I wanted to do in my life. One is, I said I'll work for me and my family until the age of 55. After 55, until the age of 65, if I'm alive, I want to give it back to the society. So my destiny brought me to Canada. When I'm 55, I'm in Canada. So a couple of years ago, I'm 57 now, started thinking, what can I do in this country? What more can I do? That is when I started discovering my community, meeting people of different kinds, different nationalities, came from different parts of the world. I really found wonderful opportunities to do some work. I started associating with Saidam, reached out to a lot of seniors. I found a lot of seniors in this country live with a lot of insecurity. They have come long time ago and they did so much to this country, and they raised their kids who have become professionals. But I believe I've heard stories, they lost their kids. Kids are gone away. I really wondered, what is immigration doing to these people? Immigration is a kind of peril for people. For a lot of people live loneliness. So I thought there is a lot of things we could do. Being a teacher, having taught students for 30 years, I thought I could use my experiences by going to Parliament. And there was an opportunity and there was a space for me, I thought. And I threw my hat in the ring and I really worked hard on the ground. I understood it is the people who matter, the real ground workers, the party workers that matter. This is what my democracy teaches me. So I really built those members, tried to reach 7,000 doors I knocked just to find people who can register for the party as members. And out of that, many, at least 80%, 70% refused to register. They said, okay, we love your story, we like your profile, we love to support you, but we don't want to become party members. But then, I sold this dream, like Plato said, those who don't participate in democratic process will end up having very inferior leaders ruling them. So would you like to be ruled by very, very inferior, substandard leaders? Or would you like to be a part of choosing that leader? And today I am so disappointed they didn't get a chance to choose the leader that they would like to send it to Parliament. This is my story, sir.
So you shared some part of your story, and Dr. Sabharwal, as we heard initial remarks regarding Professor Mandadi's story. So this is probably the same story what PPC went through.
With regards to my nomination process?
Not your nomination. I'm talking about the whole party. I mean, I remember because I was a part of PPC.
Okay.
I remember back in 2017 when Maxime Bernier lost the Conservative Party leadership race just by less than 1%.
By 0.3%.
0.3%. Yes. So the Conservative Party dumped his finest leader with disrespect because in 2018, he just tweeted a couple of, ideas about multiculturalism, and the party dumped him. And now the party is struggling to bring conservative values back to Canadian political arena. And now you are one of the candidates in one of very important writings. So you just heard what Professor Mandadi said.
And I'm saddened by it.
Yes. So why I wanted to relate his story with PPC party.
So your story goes to show that you knocked on thousands and thousands of doors. They believed your story. They believed your plight. Obviously, without a doubt, your credentials are there. They are quite impressive. But the resistance that you came up with was the resistance that, although they believed the narrative, they didn't want to sign up with as members. That's what your story had narrated. Well, that's the same type of resistance that an individual like I get myself. Dr. Sabharwal, we love you. You're a well-spoken man. You're an educated man. We see your success. And then they go off in two tangents. One tangent, to be polite to me, I believe, they say, you're such a wonderful dentist. You're such a good entrepreneur. Why don't you stick with that? Isn't there much more return? And then when you rebut and you say it's not about the return, I understand that I'm not getting into this for a job. I'm getting in this to make a difference. Then the resistance you get is, but we don't know much about your party. And then you try to educate them that there has been no time when a constituent has an issue and they speak directly to the leader of the party. They speak to their local MP. Let me be your voice. If you believe I'm capable as a human being to communicate and have the values of honesty and integrity, and you believe I can confidently take your issues and raise them in Parliament, then am I not the person who you should be selecting? Just because I have a label of a purple party, somebody has the label of a red party or a blue party, how does that make it better? Are not you supposed to look at the merit of the person? This is that invisible glass wall that all Canadians have put up artificially. I wish to repeat that, artificially. It's in their mind. If you want change, you must begin by becoming part of the change yourself.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Sabharwal said in a very interesting way, if you want to see change, you need to become part of the change. Professor Mandadi, you are that part of change. It's not just you wanted to be nominated as candidate from Conservative Party of Canada. You wanted to make a positive difference.
Absolutely.
In our society.
Yes.
And during your political journey, you realized that this is not the party what you were in fact looking for. So now you don't hesitate even supporting liberals. So,
absolutely. No.
So tell us that part.
You know why I support liberals now? Not because Conservative Party has thrown me under the bus. No. The country has moved to a kind of situation, what many intellectuals in this country call it an existential crisis. It is a kind of turbulence we are going through. We could be heading to a debacle, a major destruction. I would call what Trump started as a kind of economic nuclear war. It's a kind of war, but it's nuclear war.
Which has been, by the way, paused for 90 days.
Yes.
Today.
And then, see, this kind of threat, not only to Canada, to many parts of the world, but more to Canada because we are neighbors, we have been friends. When friends get threatened by their own friends is a very, very serious thing for me. If my enemy threatens to me, I won't be surprised. But when a friend turns out to be my foe.
Sorry to interrupt. Always recall Henry Kissinger's words that if you are America's friend, you are more in danger.
See, that's what is happening. And I would support Liberal party leader who has spent 30 decades in the industry of finance, industry, banking, and he has been in a very deep, rich experience. And I don't trust the leader of the Conservative Party because I've seen him closely. I've seen him so closely, and I don't see the depth. I haven't really found him to be a man with deep knowledge, except that he can talk blah, blah, blah. like any white Canadian can talk. If he's been sitting in the parliament and practicing this for 20 years, anybody could talk. That doesn't make anything to me as an intellectual, as a professor. And that is the reason why I do not want to support. And I request all the people to think and vote, not for the parties, but to the candidates and to the Prime Minister, who they want at this time. Because this can be something very serious for the country. This is my take on that.
Right. So, Dr. Sabharwal, you are representing a party, People's Party of Canada, which claims to carry true conservative values.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, in your writing, incumbent is from Conservative Party of Canada.
That is correct.
And so true conservative values are clashing with the fake conservative values, according to probably your perspective. So how hopeful are you in terms of defeating fake ideology?
I am contesting this election based on the volition that I carry, the belief system that I carry, the track record that over the last 2.5 decades I have demonstrated. The ideology of the People's Party of Canada was introduced in 2018. And ironically so, the current conservative leadership seems to be taking a page out of that ideology on a daily basis. Conservative values respect individual freedoms, rights, and they want to have the Canadian social fabric be a Canadian social fabric, a fabric which works for all Canadians, whether they are older Canadians, whether they are new Canadians, whether they're assimilated Canadians. And these values are given this title of being conservative values, but they're more or less correct social well-being values for the betterment of this nation. Yes, they've been given the title of conservatism. I have made a decision. This is the first time I've been in the political arena, and I've made a decision. When I sit at home and I watch parliamentarians speak and discuss things, what I've realized is that they never answer questions, that they're always blaming other politicians, that they're always blaming other policies. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to blame another person. I understand that that individual, whether that be an individual I'm contesting against or that person has been in power, that individual may have had his or her limitations. I'm not going to blame people. I'm not going to blame parties. I'm not going to keep on telling people how bad things are. We already know that. No use of... I'm going to come up with solutions. And if you believe that this guy can come up with a solution, then you support me. If you believe that I am incorrect, then I humbly request you speak to me. You tell me, make me better. Because I wish to represent the people. And it is only the people that can dictate what I say, how I say, and how I can represent their values.
Professor Keshav Mandadi, you just mentioned about the hollowness and shallowness of our most politicians in the parliament. And people like yourself cannot tolerate that hollowness and shallowness from that higher level, from the lawmakers, so-called lawmakers. So how can you contribute further in terms of creating awareness, in terms of putting pressure on our so-called representatives to lead us in a meaningful way?
Absolutely, it's a great point. I looked at certain laws that the country makes. So the bills that they pass, most of them are, of course, drafted, reviewed by bureaucrats before they are given to parliamentarians. But the ideas comes from the parliamentarians. And then I bet a lot of people don't go through every word of it. It's a lot of details. And there is a need for parliamentarians to be educated well about these things, how to read, how to interpret, how to read between the lines. Because this is going to impact millions of people when they pass a bill. And people like Dr. Sabharwal, people like me, people like you journalists, there's a need for people from different walks of life to become parliamentarians. Instead of, I see, unfortunately, there's only a certain class of people who go to parliament. That is very, very sad. It reflects on the kind of people who live in this country, I'm sorry to say, I don't undermine any profession, but I've done a little bit of survey. 80%, 70% of the people belong to one particular profession. And they're all in the housing market. This is very unfortunate. I thought there is a need for, when someone like Dr. Sabharwal or someone like me comes out and shows interest in politics, political parties should embrace them and welcome them and take them to parliament and give them a chance to contribute to this country.
I completely agree.
And
Because
there
that's
is-
diversity. We need
Because
diversity.
what is the need? By teaching 12 to 18 hours, I can get a comfortable salary. Per week, 18 to 20 hours of maximum work I can put in and take a decent salary. Being a dentist, he can do much better in terms of finances and security, financial security. There is no need for us to risk. Like she was telling, it's a very risky game. I experienced it's not very easy. It's not for ordinary people, but it involves a lot of things. So I'm worried people like me may not come forward after seeing my experience. I really want to encourage people to go forward. This is just one bit of experience. There is a positive light at the end of the tunnel. People could do even much better. I've learned this game very well in the last 1 year. This has been a very rich experience for me. So that's what I would say. I would continue to contribute, participate in discussions like with learned people like you, create awareness among the community. And I want to guide the younger people to take interest in politics. And I really want them to, contribute to this country in different ways. This is my take on that.
Dr. Sabharwal, what we have observed and noticed almost across the board in all political parties, new candidates come around election time, and if they get elected, they stay in politics. If they don't, either they're being kicked out by the party or they leave themselves. On the other hand, People's Party of Canada is a relatively new party.
Okay.
Do you have a plan or ambition in terms of helping building this party? Because this is not just a political party, it is a movement as well.
I am in complete agreement.
And this could be an alternate to Conservative Party of Canada, because Conservative Party of Canada is not holding true conservative values. So do you have sort of a plan or thinking that in either case you will stick with the party and help building the party?
I would be humbled. I would be humbled if after this election, which I do hope to make a significant difference. Winning is obviously ideal, and if it's in my stars, that will happen. If my constituents believe that I could be their voice. But in case they believe that someone else is more capable, I respect the decision of the constituents. Just like Professor Saab said that if you are given a fair shot and you lose fair and square, well then you know what? You must succumb to the voice of the people. Regardless of what happens in this election cycle, I do intend on sticking with the People's Party of Canada. I wish to bring it together to a point where we have a cohesive point of view of how we do not run election cycle politics. I want this party to envision the Canada that Canada should be. Because once we get that idea and that ideology correct, it is a matter of time. It is a matter of time before we will take this movement and we will grow it, and we will grow it, and we will grow it. And again, my ultimate goal is not to sit in Parliament. My ultimate goal is to make Canada better tomorrow than it is today. And if that is by helping the People's Party of Canada on the sidelines, I will do it that way. If it's by me representing my constituents of King Vaughan, I will do it that way. If it's by me doing something else, I will do what it takes so we can have the glorious nation we once had.
Professor Mandadi, as you mentioned about flaws in nomination process, precisely in Conservative Party, and others have observed such flaws in other parties as well. But in recent times, we have heard more sort of a mental bankruptcy within Conservative Party, which is very sad. Because personally, I was lean to vote for Conservatives, but they disappointed me as well, completely and entirely. And then you also mentioned about mentoring new generation.
Yeah.
And you also advocated about voting process. I mean, people should vote.
What?
And both of you and myself, we are not talking about our Indian community. We are talking about Canadian.
No, Canadian, yes.
System.
A lot of
Canadian
Canadians
community.
don't take part in the democratic
Yeah.
process. I'm surprised a member of parliament can become a member of parliament. A candidate can become a member of with 25,000 votes out of.
And that basically that means 60% of people who could
Don't
vote
vote.
didn't even vote.
Yes,
They didn't even
yeah,
vote.
yeah.
This is unfortunate in this country, and this must change. And 80% of the people in this country go to bed with a sense of insecurity. Someone is thinking how to pay his bills. Someone is thinking how to pay his rent. Someone is thinking how to pay the mortgages. There's a lot of financial insecurity in this country. We have so much source of wealth, minerals, natural resources, so rich in oil. But I don't know why we have to live poor life here. I lived in the Middle East. I'm not trying to show off. My wife says that why did you bring us to this country? We have to live a poor life here, despite having money.
Right.
Despite having money.
The quality of life.
Quality of life is so, it's gone bad.
It's gone, sadly.
From bad to worse.
Right.
Everything is going up except the quality of life. That is what pained me. I thought there is a need for us to contribute in this country. And there's so much to do. And I have ideas, and I thought I could share it with my leader when I join a party. And that is so disappointing. That's really disappointing to me. Yeah.
Right. So, in terms of wrapping up today's conversation, how can we enrich our political parties? Because somehow we have to work around those parties in order to make our country moving forward towards progressive direction. So, I mean, the kind of mental bankruptcy, arrogance within precisely Conservative Party, what you've been gone through. So how could we correct all that mess?
I don't want to take the names. If a leader has that kind of love for the people and the kind of people that he wants to have in the parliament, he would study everyone. Wherever he goes, he would study. I didn't find this in the Conservative Party. Honestly, I was invited to Ottawa, and then I was introduced as someone who has raised money for the party. He just looked at me, shook hand, and I called for someone to take a picture, and I looked, and he's gone. And honestly, that was the breaking point for me, even much before the nominations happened. If this is the respect a member of Confederation Circle can get in this party, I said, in fact, on the same day while driving back, I have told some of the people in the Conservative Party who have been there I don't think this leader will survive long time because he's not authentic. He's not real to me. He looks like a fake person. And probably whatever has happened, it happened for good. I'm happy that I'm not there in that party and I do not belong there with this leader. I'm not blaming the entire party. I've heard great things about Harper when he was a prime minister. I've heard great things about other leaders. Even Sir Justin Trudeau. I've seen him from a distance. My God, he exuberates love for the people. He just goes around, hugs people, makes them feel that they are great, not he. I haven't seen with Pierre Poilievre. And my feeling is that he has to, I think he's paying heavily for that. And it's not only that, everything has culminated into a kind of situation where I don't think Canada is going to choose Pierre Poilievre as Prime Minister.
Right. So in this situation, where Conservative Party is in a terrible situation, not looks like making inroads in polls as well as on grounds. I don't say they are losing their incumbency, but they are not gaining anything beyond their incumbency. So PPC, your party, has better chance. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Professor, I strongly recommend you consider our party. Our party, what you went through in your selection process, mine was, it was not easy. It was not easy. I was vetted. I was interviewed. I had a criminal background check. I had to go through all the hoops, but it was fair. It was fair. I truly consider we would benefit dramatically with individuals like yourself. Your goal is to contribute. Our goal is to have the best on our roster.
Thank you.
The question, I believe, what we have currently right now, it's not, in my humble opinion, it should not be about parties. It should be about representation. What is it that Canadians want? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you do what you have done in the past, you will always get the results you've gotten in the past. That's just a fact. The time for change is now. However, the question is, are Canadians in enough pain to change? That's the ultimate question. If they are in enough pain, they will change. If not, then you will get this same two-party system. Ours is the only party which does not change its stance. Since 2018, we have never changed our stance. Consistency, consistency, consistency. When patients come to me as a doctor and I see them, I look at them, I examine them, I say, oh, you may have this problem. 5 minutes later, I say, no, you may have that problem. 3 minutes later, I say, no, you may have a third problem. You know what that does? Lack of credibility. That's what the parties have done. Our party hasn't. Again, we're at a very crucial time. The time for change is now. The time for change only you will make. We will try to be your voice for change, but you must give us the opportunity.
In our very conclusive remarks so far in our conversation, we haven't talked about our Indo-Canadian community. So I would like to have your conclusive remarks about our Indo-Canadian community. How can we make difference as Indo-Canadians, as we see Jewish brothers and sisters? They have great contribution. Ukrainians, they claim their contribution. Other communities claim. And we have tremendous contribution in our society. But how can we have our weight in political arena, in political surface? What I see lack of weight.
I had some interesting experiences when I talked to people. I really spent on the ground meeting people, inviting them for coffee, sitting with them and chatting like this, digging into their own, personal stories, what they want. Like you said in the beginning, people want to complain without doing much. When he says contributing, we all contribute a lot to this country. There are great businessmen, great entrepreneurs We all work hard and bring money to ourselves and pay taxes, peace-loving people here. But what we don't do is we keep looking back to India, reading the news there every day, not even looking at Canadian news. We physically immigrate, but we mentally stay back in India. This is very unfortunate. This is the predicament most immigrants are living, especially immigrants from my part of the world. And many of them, I've asked them, do you watch this news channel? Do you read National Post? Do you read this newspaper? None of them know anything of these things. So how can you know what is happening in Canada? You must read. You must interact with Canadians. You have to assimilate into the society. We come here, we bring our spices from India, we eat the same spices. Nothing wrong in that. But we also need to learn how to immigrate well into the Canadian society.
Yeah.
And when I say immigrate well, we also should participate in democratic process where we can make an impact, a huge impact. And that is what we are trying to educate people. Go and vote. Who you vote, it's your problem. But you must vote.
It's your right.
It's your right. Exercise your right. I keep telling, if you don't participate in the democratic process, you will end up being ruled by very inferior people. And don't complain later.
So final words from you. You also come from Indian background, but you were born here, brought up here, and quote unquote, you are more Canadian than maybe both of us.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
I believe I'm privileged. I'm privileged by just mere chance that I was born in Canada, a glorious nation, but I also have my Indian roots. And I'm very, very proud of my Indian roots. My Indian roots have given me a strong volition. It's given me strong courage. Whenever I have a dilemma in my life, I go back to my Hindu roots. I go back to the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and I feel that I have a connect with a spiritual connection with God, and that gives me a lot of power and a lot of energy. Unfortunately, life is not easy. With every success, there comes a lot of challenges. But my cultural faith, which I've gotten from India, my religious faith, my spiritual faith, which I've gotten from India, really, really helps me become a better Canadian and a better human being. And I'm very proud and humbled to say that. And I don't say it with arrogance. I don't mean it in that way at all. I just feel that I've gotten very lucky, and I believe I'm in a good situation just because of the mere fact that I have this wonderful combination.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure having both of you.
It is our privilege and pleasure.
Absolutely, it's my honor. It's an honor for me, and we'll continue this conversation
Thank you very much.
in different shades, in different ways, and so nice.
Absolutely. Thank you
sir.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Viewers, you just heard our conversation in my podcast, What's Going On. Stay tuned with us. We'll be bringing such vibrant discussions in coming days, in coming weeks, and in coming months.